Hi, welcome back to Type 1 Diabetes with Mike. No, let's welcome back to Mike's Diabetes World. First thing I want to do is get rid of that. We're doing well today so far, aren't we? Oh, I'm calibrating and everything right now, but my blood sugar was 11.1. So, today I want to discuss diabetic ketoacidosis. That is a medical emergency. If your blood sugars are going up, it's important that you test your ketones, whether you do blood or urine. And if you have moderate to high ketones, chances are you're going to need more insulin. Now, I am not a doctor. I'm not prescribing. What I am saying is if you ever end up in that condition, go to emergency or contact your family or your endocrinologist. Don't just say, oh, well, I'll wait a couple of hours and see if it comes down. Because chances are it's not on its own. It'll need some intervention. If you start getting very sick and you're vomiting a lot, just go to the hospital. Don't play around with things. You may find that your breathing may get to be very labored. Now, last time I was in the hospital, I went in with an infected leg. And I guess I was going to take a shower and never took a shower and laid down. But my pump was disconnected. It wasn't attached to my body. So I'm there lying in bed, kind of game. And I guess I had called a friend, and the friend came over and said, oh, you're not looking great. So he called an ambulance. They found I had high blood sugar, and I was kind of taken to the hospital with an infection and DKA. Now, DKA, I was delirious. And while I was delirious, I can remember some of the hallucinations. One was the nurses were taking over the ward. Oh my God, the nurse. And I was panicking. And others was I was out in the parkade. I don't know why they put me out in the parkade. They didn't, but in my mind, they had pictured this. And they're like real to you. There were times I was just going, hell, I wasn't correct. And yet, even after they brought my ketones down, it took me, I would say, a week and a bit to 2 weeks where the delirium just hung around. And I was doing weird things. Supposedly I pulled out my IV, and I never do that. I've had so many, but I did, and I was tied down into the bed, and I thought I was moved into a hospital room with bunk beds, and this is the first time I had ever had delirium with DKA. While I was in the hospital, they decided, let's get me back on my pump. So prior to going in the hospital, I was on very little insulin. But I guess with the infection and everything, my demand skyrocketed. And it wasn't delivery. So I slipped into DKA again. Though I don't really remember that much of that second DKA. The third one, I was really ill. It came on. I was giving what the pump said. But it was kind of like my body was going, hey, remember me? I need insulin now. I need it right now. Come on. And I ended up being so sick. They put a catheter in, which was truthfully a godsend. Now, I know they don't like to have people on catheters as much as they used to. But when you're diabetic and you have high blood sugar and just constantly having to go, oh, it's such a godsend. You're like, you could sleep because your body's taking care of everything. And you lose sleep and you get up and you go to the bathroom normally. I'm not saying you're get in there and say, if they say, oh, you're in DKA, you're going to go, oh, I want a catheter. Chances are you're not going to get it. But I was revisiting everything I ate or drank. And the medical student I had, who should now be a doctor for at least 1 or 2 years. He was going to be a resident. I would have loved to know where he had started to practice. But he did an awesome job. Getting the catheter wasn't any fun, but once it was in, it was fine. And of course, I was thirsty and I wanted to throw up, but they started to replenish my fluids. No, I'm not in DK right now. And it kept things flowing and I wasn't thirsty anymore. And you don't know what a super high blood sugar, your tongue feels like this, and you can't really speak. And you really just want to grab any water. But the important thing to remember is don't overflow your body with water. Oh, I'm thirsty, I gotta drink. Because chances are everything's gonna come back. So take sips, go on ice chip, keep your mouth hydrated until your blood sugars come down a bit and you can handle water. DKA is a medical emergency. It's not to be played around with. If you end up in a DKA situation, you need to get action. Either contact your doctor, your diabetic nurse, and they should have a plan for you if you go into DKA and what sort of extra insulin you're going to need. Because in reality, again, I'm not a doctor, check this out with your doctor. To get out of DKA is that your body requires more insulin. But don't go there shooting 500 units of insulin. Contact the hospital, your doctor. No one wants to go to the hospital, but this is the time you're going to need to go. Take care of things. DKA is the worst thing that could ever happen to you. Oh, it's not the worst thing, but in your diabetic life, it's the worst thing. You're not really feeling like doing anything. Your body's tired because it doesn't have the energy. It's trying to equal out your blood sugar levels. So if you are, or you think you're heading for DK, do a urine test, blood test. If you're showing moderate to large ketones in urine, or the higher readings on the ketone tests, then contact a medical professional. If you have started to vomit, you should head to emergency. If you have those two things, chances are you have a DKA. And your body's saying, I need insulin. Have a great time. Have a great time. Take care of yourself so you can have a great time. I'll talk again soon. Bye.